And what you see in front of you is called a concept map. Um, so these, and this concept map, it's a digital resource, and we'll send you a link to it after the webinar is over, so that you have access to this and all the resources that are attached to it. I want to make sure that you can see next to each shape or concept, there are attached resources. So you can see a little icon here that you can click on. And you'll see, for instance, attached to that concept are 3 PDF handouts, one on the benefits of summer research, one on an overview on applying to summer research, and another sort of overview kind of presentation actually on summer research. So there are a bunch of different resources attached to each of these concepts. I encourage you to explore them. Once we send you the link, there's lots of good stuff to dig into there, and I'll try to highlight some of them throughout the presentation. So we'll just get started with the basics of what is summer research. So usually these programs are about 8 to 10 weeks during the summer, and they're located at a college or university campus or a research laboratory setting. And it's very possible that your home institution hosts one or several summer research programs on campus. So you'll generally be working under the guidance of a faculty member or two on a specific research project, and you'll also probably be interacting with graduate students. The programs usually consist of about 8 to 12 undergraduate students total, so it's a small group. And all the programs that we'll talk about today are paid, and they usually offer travel support and housing as well. And the programs, they're in just about every discipline and geographic location that you could possibly imagine. And the programs are definitely fun. Here are a couple of pictures of some students on fieldwork days from a couple of summer research programs, just to give you a sense. There's certainly social activities as well as academic and research activities. They give you great exposure to field work and or a lab work setting. Often you are able to do things that you may not really be able to do, in the traditional sort of semester-long course setting that you have as an undergraduate. So, field work, lab work. And again, this exposes you to a lot of different types of scenarios that you just may not be able to do during the semester. These programs also often offer professional development support. So this may come in a range of activities. For example, a program may give a GRE prep workshop or a resume writing workshop. There may be funds to support you and the other undergraduates attending the program to travel to a research conference, and as a group present the research that you've done over the summer in a poster presentation, for example. That's the picture that's showed here. And then, of course, the programs are paid, and generally the range is around $4,000 to $6,000 for that 8 to 10 week summer experience. A couple of great sources for these programs. One is the National Science Foundation, so NSF, and they call their programs RUs. RU stands for Research Experiences for Undergraduates. And in total, there are probably 500 to 600 of these programs all across the country, hosted by different universities and across, just about every different discipline that you can think of. And again, the stipend is generally about $4,500 for the summer, and travel support is included along with housing, which is usually, a college dormitory, other sort of similar housing situations. All of the NSF programs have different application forms and processes and different deadlines. Some have very early deadlines coming up in December, which are programs that you really want to get a jump on now. But the majority have deadlines between February and March. And our website, pathwaystoscience.org, is a great place to search for these programs, and we'll do a demo of searching those a little bit later on. I wanted to just make a note. I'm not going to play these videos now, but there's some great videos on YouTube put together by summer research students about their experience at different RU programs. So I encourage you to get on YouTube or come to this concept map and click on some of these videos and just watch them. They're pretty fun to watch, and they give you a good sense for what these programs might be like. Another great source for summer research programs is NASA. And a lot of people, their gut reaction to NASA is that it's aerospace engineering and nothing else. But actually NASA has research interests in a wide variety of disciplines, everything from biology, chemistry, physics, astronomy, computer science, math are certainly all relevant to NASA. And they even have a few internships in business, finance, or like science communication. So you should definitely check them out. The internships with NASA, they occur at a NASA research center. And one thing of note, if this is of interest to you, they also offer spring and fall semester internships as well as the summer internships. So that may be an option for you. Again, the stipend range is around $4,000 to $6,000 for the summer. NASA is a little bit different in how they work their application. They have this website, intern.nasa.gov. You can go to that website and complete your base application. You just complete that single base application, and then you can attach it to up to 15 different NASA internships. So it's a little bit more streamlined. They have a bit of a later deadline, being March 1st this year. If you're interested in these internships, one tip I would give you is that not all, because they have a later deadline, not all of their opportunities are posted to the website yet. So you might want to get a start on your base application, but wait to attach it to those 15 internships of interest until maybe Christmas break is when I would think that most of their opportunities are up and running. But they tend to have a couple hundred internships available with NASA. And then just one more thing of note there. There's also a pretty neat video here. I'm not going to play it, but again, you can check it out when we send you this link, of Cody Ensley, who's a Native American student who interned, I believe he did either 2 or 3 consecutive internships at Johnson Space Center, and now he's a full-time employee there. His area of interest is robotics. So we're going to move along to why you should even consider applying to these programs. And well, summer research gives you a great academic foundation for sure. It helps build your research skills. And it's also a great stepping stone to graduate school if you are considering graduate school, because you build those research skills that are necessary for graduate school. And also because you are often working alongside other graduate students, it gives you insight into what life as a graduate student is like. And it also gives you valuable faculty connections that can be really helpful when you're applying for graduate school. A lot of students say that they found their graduate program through their summer research program. And then, of course, as I've mentioned, it gives you great hands-on experience in the lab or the field setting and helps you explore different fields of interest. So, for example, you may find a sort of research niche that you didn't even know about, that you didn't even know exists, and really fascinates you, and that you really want to go on and explore. And then on the other hand, you may go into it thinking that you like something and realize that it's really not for you. And it's great to find that out during an 8 to 10 week summer research experience rather than finding it out after you've committed to a 5-year doctoral program in that area. And then finally, it's their chance to travel and to make new friends and just to have fun and explore, and to get paid while you're doing it. So there's some photos and videos on these concepts that I'll let you explore in your own time, but there are lots of great resources here that you may want to take a look at. But in the meantime, I will pass it on to my colleague Chris, who's going to talk about how to apply.
Great. Thanks, Liz. Before I jump right into the timeline, I wanted to show you, we have 2 accompanying handouts. One being an overview on how to create a winning application, and the other being applying to the undergraduate research opportunities, which includes a checklist of application components with an idealized timeline and when to start each. This checklist is really one of our most requested and popular handouts. So if you've not started your application process, now would be the time to start. Using our timeline graphic, it highlights the summer and early fall as the time to start drafting your cover letter and personal statement, updating or revising your resume, and discussing with your family the importance of participating in research. And we find that discussing the importance of research with your family is not an insignificant issue for many students. I know if you have the issue like I did as a first-generation college student, your parents may view college as just a 4 years experience. And this handout gives a lot of advice on how to express the need and importance of being away from home for the summer, and gives tips on how to explain to your parents why research and graduate school are important steps that you really need to fulfill to achieve the career you want. And best of all, get paid to do it. And then the next step in the process would be to search for a program. We'll show you in more detail in a little bit when we walk through our website, pathwaytoscience.org, how to use our search engine to find a program that matches your interests. But at the same time, fall, now would be the time you want to make a list of the various application deadlines for all of the programs you plan to apply to. Make sure you're aware of all the separate requirements for each program, and identify who you'll be asking for recommendation letters and contact them. Lastly, start looking into requesting your letter of transcripts. So over the next month, December and into early January, you should be make your program selection, request your letters of recommendation, and really be polishing your personal essay and cover letters. Use your campus resources, like your writing centers and your friends and your peers, just to have as many set of eyes reviewing your application. Please use our Writing Strong Essays handout. It gives you great advice on how to strengthen your personal narrative and how to make your content relevant to where you're applying. Each one is different. So at this time, this month, maybe the next month of December, you should also make some type of initial contact with the programs you feel strongly about. Let them know who you are and that you're interested in applying. You can do this by email or phone, but email is probably the best first contact. And don't ask them how to apply. You just want to contact and indicate that you're going to apply, and follow the instructions already outlined on their website, assuming they're current. And I just want to say, don't be discouraged if you check out some sites and their applications still have 2013 dates. Many are in the process of updating their sites right now. So again, you don't want to create any work for these program coordinators. This is just a time to introduce yourself and express your intent so your name stands out to them once your application is submitted. Also, please read and take advantage of our letters of recommendation handout. Who should you be asking for letters of recommendation? Make sure you're choosing someone who will write you a good letter of reference. To do this, you really need to supply them with your resume and highlights of your work in their class or research program. You really just want to make it as easy as possible for them to give you the best letter possible. So make sure you follow up. Be pleasant but persistent, but give lots of lead time to the people you're asking for letters of recommendation. 2 months, if possible. Keep in mind, reminders are often necessary and expected. Faculty are really busy, but they do want you to have a complete and successful application. So stay in touch with them with pleasant but persistent reminders until you know your application is completed. So over Christmas break is really the time to be finishing your applications, making sure you're including contact information that you know you will still have in the spring, and complete and submit. Once you've completed your application, follow up with the program. Make sure your submission was received. This type of follow-up, along with that initial contact with the program as you started the application process, is what will really make you stand out as a serious applicant. In the spring, make sure you are checking your email. Offers will be sent to you this way, and you need to be very timely in your response. You may be in the position of considering multiple offers. Weigh the pros and cons of each, and select a program that is the best fit for you. When you have made your decision, respond. Thank the program no matter what the outcome. If you've been accepted, if you've not been accepted, thank them for considering you, and ask them how you can strengthen your application in the future. This is also a time where you want to be following up and informing your recommenders. These are the people that you'll be asking again and again for references into the future, and they want to know if you're successful. And if you provide them with this professional courtesy, they'll be far more likely to go the extra mile for you in the future. So just keep these things in mind. Once you've committed to a program, you'll most likely be given a list of reading materials and forms to fill out. You may be asked to join a social network, associated with that program. Complete all of these steps ahead of time and just be ready to hit the ground running once you arrive at your summer program. And lastly, have fun and take advantage of all the opportunities associated with your program. Does your program provide support to a professional conference to present your research findings? Look for opportunities on your campus the next fall to present your research. These are the type of resume building activities that will strengthen your future summer research applications as well as your graduate school and fellowship applications. And if any of you are rising seniors or planning to apply to graduate school next year, we just always like to point out that the early fall is when all the graduate school fellowship application deadlines occur. So please keep this in mind. Apply to as many fellowship opportunities as possible. The worst case scenario is that you may have too many offers and have to decline one. May that be your problem. And if you do receive multiple offers, you may be able to stack or defer various opportunities. So more is better. But if you miss this window of early fall, there really are very few options for external funding. So we're frequently contacted by students who have missed fellowship deadlines, and it really is hard to tell them that those opportunities have passed. So if you're looking in the spring of your senior year, it really is too late. You need to start looking to apply for graduate school funding in August and very early fall of your senior year or the year prior to your planned attendance at graduate school. So that being said, we'd like to demonstrate our website for you. So first of all, from our homepage, Pathways to Science, you'll see our sign-ups form. If you've not done this already, we'd encourage all of you to sign up for a number of reasons. First, we send reminders about upcoming deadlines. Next month, we will alert all rising seniors and about summer research deadlines. And then in the early fall, we'll alert seniors and graduate students about fellowship deadlines. And then secondly, we're often contacted by faculty who wish to share their opportunities. So if your name and information is in our student directory, we can send along to you discipline-specific opportunities as they're shared with us. So if you'd like to receive these types of reminders and opportunities, please fill out the form. It takes really only about 5 minutes. So our most popular search function is our Search 1500 Programs searchable database. So let me give you an example. In selecting this, you'll be brought to a search page. So for summer research opportunities, you select Undergraduate as the user group, and we'll select Marine Sciences and Oceanography as the discipline. And then if you just hit the search function, in this case, it brings up 72 programs under the search criteria. If you want to select a program, like the second in the list, that's at Bates College, you'll be prompted to our overview page, where it will show you the associated institutions, program deadlines, program contacts, but most importantly, the program website link. So this program is based at Bates College in Maine, but it collaborates with a research station in the country of Norway. This program, I also want to point out, has a deadline of January 15th. So if this selection interests you, you should be quickly taking the steps necessary to complete your application. And many programs have deadlines from mid-January through mid-March, but best to assume that deadlines are early. It's just a good idea to try to apply early. So now let's do an advanced search. As we toggle back to that screen, if we've even gotten as far as the oceanography program I was talking about. So there we go. We have lots of different opportunities, and it's neat to think of that having an international component as an undergraduate as an opportunity, and there's lots of those out there. To go back through an advanced search, we toggle back to that. I want to point out that you can search by a variety of methods. Discipline is just one, but you can also search by geographic location and institution. So if those factors play a large role in your ability to participate, please know that you can search by those methods as well. An advanced search, to highlight, again, undergrads as the user group, this time typing in the University of California, Davis. When I searching under this find that there's 6 opportunities just at that one institution alone. So this function, you can search by keyword, by program deadline, by citizenship. You can really refine your search in a number of ways. This function is also great when you start looking for graduate schools and searching for those. So please try using our search function in a variety of ways. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to write or call me at any time. We'll be sending you all the links to all the resources referred to tonight, as well as our contact information. But it's my job to help you find a program. So please take advantage of this offer and write me following our webinar tonight if you'd like help with a search. I'd be happy to. So at this time, I would like to pass our conversation over to our speaker tonight, Ashton Robinson Cook, who is a current graduate student at the University of Oklahoma and a meteorologist and former student intern at NOAA's National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center. So, Ashton, if you don't mind taking it away, please do.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So I've been brought on to talk a bit about my experiences participating in REU. I've been actually fortunate enough to be a part of 3 separate REUs with Daphne Ledoux's National Weather Center REU program, and she'll explain more about that. But she's an excellent contact, an excellent program manager, and she runs an excellent program here in Oklahoma. The first REU, or my first internship was administered through ORAS, and that's the Oak Ridge Institute for Science and Education. They had a summer internship program where they basically sent me from my undergraduate institution to to a lab or a research institute that I actually fit the best at, and it happened to be the Storm Prediction Center here in Norman, which is co-located with the University of Oklahoma. And then the following 2 years, I actually got on with the National Weather Service through the SCEP program, SCEP, that's the Student Career Experience Program, and that's now changed to Pathways, and that was a recent change that was a presidential mandate. There are many, many benefits that I personally experienced and that I saw others experience in matriculating through the REU program for the summer. One of the biggest ones that I think is that it provided a means for students, undergraduates, to meet people and make contacts for future graduate school study. And that was something I wanted to add on to something that was discussed earlier, is that the contacts weren't just with faculty. In fact, a lot of the contacts that we made, including myself, were with lab scientists, particular researchers at the National Severe Storms Laboratory, which is also co-located with the Storm Prediction Center where I work, and also with forecasters here in the building that we all work in. But this program, Daphne's program, is really known for helping undergraduates transition into grad school, and part of it is just the way the program is structured. We have a research project, we have presentations to give. We have contacts that we make with other scientists, senior scientists, junior scientists of all levels throughout the weather enterprise that they call it here in Norman. One of the other benefits too, or several benefits within this one category here, is professional development. I had the opportunity to present my work before several of those scientists and also students and also Daphne. And then I also had a chance to work on my writing skills. And one of the things that really benefited me from her program is that I received a book from Strunk and White. Those are the 2 authors in there, and it's about writing and writing style. And one of the key things that you'll need, particularly with grad school, but not just that, but with any career that you enter into, is the ability to write and communicate through writing. And that book was a key book that dramatically improved my writing ability. And again, several professionals, several people came in and spoke to us about career choices, presentation and communication skills, etc. And another thing that I enjoyed that was already discussed, and I'll just reiterate, is the camaraderie with the fellow students that were in similar fields as to what I'm in, meteorology, but they were from other institutions. And so that could end up being a networking opportunity later down the line. 10 or 15 years down the line, you're working in a career and you experience a problem that someone else in your RU cohort was an expert in. And so but you know them because you live with them for a summer. You're good friends with them, so you get to ask them a question that maybe someone else who didn't know them may not have been able to answer or ask. So that's the importance of networking there. Some of these people I keep in touch with to date. Some of our group experiences in the summer were fantastic, and they really rounded out the summer internship, the summer experience for us. And we went storm chasing. We took group trips around Oklahoma. We went hiking once. Went to different restaurants and things like that. We also got to see Norman, Oklahoma, and what it had to offer, etc. And we also went to Oklahoma City, which is 30 minutes drive to the north. More recently, I've participated on the selection committee for RU. I participated back-to-back years, and I'll just give a few points or a few pointers on what I saw and what I observed as being part of the selection committee. All of the application is important, and the competition for these slots and RUs is really, really tough. Some of the incomplete applications we didn't even see. So it's important if you fill out your application to make sure that it's complete. Have someone else look at it, look over it, make sure there are no misspellings, make it really sharp. One of the things that I noticed, and I actually kind of disagreed with this, but a lot of the committee that I participated with focused on their favorite students who were finishing their junior year and entering their senior year, and their justification for that was that they were looking for students that might not have another chance at an internship, and I tended to not favor those students or see the same way. I just looked for those students and I had a specific criteria that I was looking for, and I'll list a few of those here. I wanted to see someone that had a good GPA. It didn't have to be great, though. And one of the reasons why I personally feel this way is because coursework is very challenging, and you won't use every single detail of your coursework in the real world unless you enter the academia field. And there's not, an abundance of academic fields out there. And so having a good GPA is good. It shows that you work hard. It shows that you care about your studies, that you attend class every day, you do well on tests and things like that. But I wasn't necessarily looking for someone that had a 4.0. That didn't really bother me if they didn't have a 4.0. But what I really wanted to look for, what I really wanted to see was evidence of extracurricular activities that highlighted enthusiasm and passion for the respective field. So if I saw two applications and one person had a 4.0 but all they took was coursework, and I saw where another application had a student had a 3.5, but they were involved in their meteorology club on campus. They were involved in going storm spotting. They were involved in their local weather forecast office. They were involved in the American Meteorological Society. I tended to favor the 3.5 student over the 4.0 student because they actually showed that they were interested and passionate about the field, and that to me indicated that they may have more potential down the line than someone who's just very good in the books. 4.0. So that's just me. That's just the world of REU according to Ashton. So also important is letters of recommendation. Some of these, this is kind of a tricky one. You want to find someone that can give you a letter of recommendation that can actually give you a good one. You don't want anyone that's going to maybe, subtly knock you. I've seen some of that happen before. But this is what I look for in letters of recommendation. I look for something that attested to your character, who you are as a person. I also looked and favored the letters that were really enthusiastic about their student. They showed that the professor or the pastor or someone that knew the student was really excited about their future. And also that they observed your enthusiasm about the field that you're getting ready to enter in. And again, I'll just reiterate, a lot of these points of emphasis that I look for vary by committee members. So ultimately, what this really means is that, and one thing that I really want to encourage you is that no matter how strong or weak you think your application is, apply. And I'll leave you with that.
Thank you, Ashton, for the compliments. I really appreciate it. As a program director, I see my job as helping you find your ideal career. And I don't know if all program directors share that, but I think a lot of them do. And that's why I work really hard on career exposure and things like that. And I help you consider more than just going into research. For a lot of reasons. It might not be the best fit for you even if you're capable of it. But also there are a lot of jobs that have some research involved, but it's not a full-time research job, in meteorology at least. So the career field is a bit muddier than just thinking about I'd want to do research or not. So I wrote a few notes while Ashton was talking and while the others were talking. And absolutely call in or write to check on your application to find out if all the pieces have been received. That's really good advice. Call to ask about your status, especially if you've already gotten an offer. And you might get a lot of insight into whether you should try to delay the other offer or, you find out where you stand. If my program selection committee hasn't met yet, I can't make much in the way of promises. It's hard to predict what the committee will decide because we come to a consensus, as Ashton was talking about how everybody has different things that they're kind of looking for, and it's a consensus process. I don't try to predict what the committee will decide, but I do try to give you some insight into where I think you stand and how strong I think your application is. Ashton also mentioned the age of students, and this is a hard one. I do often have at least one sophomore in my program, but we have a lot of heartache looking at really good applicants who will not be able to apply again. And that's why we tend to favor the juniors, and Ashton tried to take a more blind approach to it, which is great. I like diversity on my selection committee. I like having the different voices to talk about the different applicants and help us see why we should take maybe even a freshman into the program so early because we think it'd really make a difference to them. I echo the same about GPA. We really look at trends in grades, not the overall GPA. We kind of look at GPA in major because we hope you're doing better in your major classes than in the rest. Right? If you're really interested in your major, you're probably doing better in those classes. But we really dig into the trends of grades. We scrutinize transcripts, and we look at, okay, so you got a C the first time you took Calc 1, but what happened when you took Calc 2, and then what happened when you took Calc 3, that kind of thing. With letters of recommendation, here's advice no one has said yet that I strongly recommend. Before you ask someone to write the letter for you, sit down and talk to them about the opportunity that you're considering. And ask them if they think it's a good opportunity for you. Listen and watch their reaction, and then decide whether you want to ask that person to write a reference for you. They'll write a much stronger letter if they get really excited about an opportunity for you. And you'll also find out some of what they think before you've ever asked them to write a letter, because you're just asking them for advice. Those are the notes that I had written down, and I'll answer any other questions if they come up.